Welcome to the Rocky Mountaineer Safety Certification Training for Level 3 Yellow Access. Rocky Mountaineer is committed to providing clear instructions outlining rules, procedures, and responsibilities required by all team members and contractors to work safely on our property and equipment. Please ensure you read the Rocky Mountaineer Safety Certification Manual and reference the topics covered throughout the training to obtain more details. Questions concerning any of the safety or security practices at Rocky Mountaineer should be directed to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager, that is, the manager on duty. Please note that the corresponding section of the manual is noted at the top of each slide throughout the following presentation. General Safety Notice. Safety and willingness to obey the rules is of the first importance in the performance of duty. If in doubt, the safe course of action must be taken. You are being certified for Level 3 Yellow Access. Depending on the job you are required to do, you may be granted access to the Rocky Mountaineer offices or train stations and all areas where train maintenance is required. This includes on board the train and in maintenance facilities. The responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager will confirm your permitted areas of access, and at no time should you access a location that has not been authorized. Generator car, locomotive, and mechanical room access is permitted only with the permission of the Senior Director, Railway Operations. Security ID card. Upon successful completion of the program, you will be issued a Security ID card. Your responsibilities include wearing and displaying your ID card at all times, except when working on the train when guests are on board. Refraining from granting access to anyone who does not display a valid Security ID card. Stopping people not wearing an ID card and asking them to present it, and if necessary, escorting them to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager to obtain an ID card. If you forget or lose your ID card, report it to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. If your ID card is stolen, report it to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager and the operations hotline at 250-682-2000. When you are no longer employed by Rocky Mountaineer, return your ID card to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. Security Incident Reporting. Rocky Mountaineer is a federally regulated railway operator and has an agreement with Transport Canada pertaining to the security of its operations, which includes the responsibility to manage and control safety and security risks. Remember, your personal safety is the first priority. Be aware and vigilant at all times. If you witness a security incident in progress, immediately call 911 and report to the operations hotline at 250-682-2000, as well as report to a responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. Also report suspicious people, packages, or unusual events or unauthorized attempts to access our train or facilities to the operations hotline and the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. Contractors or Rocky Mountaineer team members responsible for providing patrolling services should refer to Section 22 of the Rocky Mountaineer Safety Certification Manual for additional instructions. Reporting safety hazards and contraventions. At Rocky Mountaineer, safety is everyone's responsibility. If you see a safety hazard, take immediate action to eliminate, fix, or protect it before it becomes a hazard to you or others. If you are unable to eliminate, fix, or protect the hazard, immediately report it to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. Unresolved contraventions or safety hazards should be reported to the Chief Safety Officer. Contractors must immediately report all safety hazards to a responsible Rocky Mountaineer person. Emergencies and first aid. It is the responsibility of all team members and contractors to know emergency response, evacuation procedures, and the location of emergency equipment at the location they are working. When an accident or incident occurs, call 911 if emergency services are required. Call for a first aid attendant if required. Report to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. report to the operations hotline at 250-682-2000, and follow any instructions to protect the scene. Near misses, that is something that happened or could have happened, but no harm or damage was caused, must also be reported to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer manager. Core safety rules: electronic devices. Company electronic devices are used for business purposes only, and only when it is safe to do so. Personal electronic or entertainment devices are prohibited unless being used as a medical device, for voice communication in case of emergency, or during radio failure, or during a recognized break or meal period. At no time should an electronic device be used when operating locomotives, machinery, or other such equipment that will cause a distraction to the operator. When walking about in rail yards or on roadways, or when operating a vehicle, unless with a hands-free device and when it is safe to do so.
Core safety rules. Care of property. Team members and certified contractors must maintain a clean and tidy workspace, including shops, offices, desks, vehicles, and rail equipment to ensure a safe and productive work environment with the Rocky Mountaineer brand. Everyone is responsible for ensuring we are using safe, properly functioning tools and equipment with all safeguards applied. Report any unsafe equipment and tools to the responsible Rocky Mountaineer person. Core safety rules. No smoking. Rocky Mountaineer adheres to the rules of our host railways as well as government legislation concerning prevention and control of fires. These rules apply to all smoking products, e-cigarettes, and vapor devices of any kind. Smoking by team members, certified contractors, and visitors is prohibited in all equipment, buildings, and yards. It is restricted to designated smoking areas and not permitted within 50 feet or 15.2 meters of railway tracks.
Rocky Mountaineer maintains a healthy, safety-focused relationship with our host railway partners, Canadian Pacific, Canadian National, Amtrak, and BNSF Railway. It is the utmost importance that every team member or contractor working with or representing Rocky Mountaineer that they fully understand and comply with our host railway safety rules. When working in or visiting rail yards or around rail equipment and railway tracks, everyone must expect the movement of trains, engines, cars, or other equipment at any time. This includes equipment on any track with the potential to move in any direction. Consider all tracks to be live tracks. Team members and contractors must not alter, nullify, change the design of, or in any manner restrict or interfere with the normal function of any safety device, controls, or equipment on locomotives, coaches, tools, or other Rocky Mountaineer property, except in the case of an emergency and with the approval from the responsible Rocky Mountaineer person. Railway safety. Safe distance from the tracks. No machinery, persons, equipment, or vehicles are permitted within 7 feet, 2.1 meters, from the nearest rail at any time unless authorized by a responsible Rocky Mountaineer person and the location is properly protected or otherwise specified in special instructions.
Railway safety. Crossing tracks. Precautions must be taken whenever approaching tracks or whenever there is movement on the track. If it is necessary to cross railway tracks, stop and look in both directions for approaching trains or rolling stock. Avoid slip and fall hazards by stepping over, not on, rails when crossing. And walk straight across when safe to do so, and not less than 25 feet or 8 meters from standing rail equipment. Persons may cross tracks at less than 25 feet to standing equipment when tracks are properly secured and blue flag protection is in place. Railway safety. Walking about rails. Team members and certified contractors who must walk on or near the tracks must be constantly alert and exercise good judgment. Expect the movement of trains or equipment at any time, on any track, and in either direction. Do not run unless in case of emergency. Do not turn your back. Always face the movement to ensure you can react to any possible safety concern. Never stand on the track in front of any approaching engine, car, or other moving equipment. Avoid distractions such as audio headsets, electronic devices, and other such devices when about the rails. Railway safety. Railway devices. Railway devices such as switches, handbrakes, derails, blue flags, locomotives, and other such equipment must only be handled by persons who are authorized and qualified to handle such devices. Railway safety. 3-point contact. 3-point contact consists of both feet and one hand, or both hands and one foot, making contact with steps and handrails at all times. Use 3-point contact when ascending or descending ladders, platforms, stairs, and equipment, or in motion while riding moving equipment, including rail cars. This is to protect yourself from loss of balance. Railway safety. Job briefing. Team members and certified contractors will participate in a job safety briefing facilitated by a responsible Rocky Mountaineer person before beginning work and when work or job conditions change. The briefing will include a discussion of the general work plan, identifying existing or potential hazards, personal protective equipment required, and ways to eliminate or protect against hazards. Railway safety. Restricted clearance hazards. Restricted clearances on tracks will be protected by designated warning signs or instructions. Every person must be aware of these locations and, when required, communicate such locations with the appropriate individuals to ensure the safety of everyone who may be affected. Railway safety. Safe use of hazardous materials. In accordance with the Canadian Occupational Health and Safety Regulations, Part 10, Hazardous Substance, a controlled product must not be used, stored, or handled in a workplace unless all the applicable WHMIS requirements concerning labels, identifiers, material safety data sheets, and worker education and training are complied with. MSDS sheets must be printed and readily available to the user and must be referred to prior to using the product. Railway safety. Fall protection. A fall protection system must be used when a team member or certified contractor could fall at least 2.4 meters or 8 feet, or where a fall from a lesser height may cause a serious injury. Examples include working at a height on top of or at the side of a rail car or locomotive, or on a ladder or scaffolding above the 2.4 meter or 8 foot level.
Railway safety. Radio communication. Radio communications form a vital part of the overall safety on board the train, in railway yards, and maintenance facilities. Radios may be used only by authorized personnel. Radio communications must be brief and to the point and contain only essential information. During an emergency, emergency communication takes priority over all other communications. Some common terms used in radio communications are standby, which means to monitor this channel for my next transmission. Over, which means my transmission is ended and I expect a response. Out, which means my transmission is ended and I do not expect a response.
Railway safety. Vehicles. Team members and certified contractors must provide proof of a valid driver's license before operating vehicles, in addition to ensuring they obtain the proper training or familiarization for the location they are performing work. Speed limits and traffic signs must be obeyed, paying special attention to the 15 km/h speed limit when in the vicinity of railway tracks and rail equipment. Vehicles must be positioned to avoid backup movement whenever possible, and must be roadworthy, including having working brakes, headlights, brake lights, signal lights, and backup lights. All vehicles must have current valid insurance. Personal protective equipment. Team members and certified contractors should be familiar with and wear personal protective equipment, or PPE, and clothing as required by the task being performed and the location of the work. PPE must fit properly, be worn professionally, be clean, and be in good condition. Section 18 of the Safety Certification Manual provides additional information on PPE, including a chart on the PPE required for specific tasks and locations, as well as details concerning PPE specifications and exceptions. Working together to understand and wear the correct PPE helps everyone to stay safe.
Blue flag protection. Team members and contractors requiring access to inspect, service, or work on or near standing rail equipment must first receive permission from a Level 3 qualified Rocky Mountaineer team member. The qualified Rocky Mountaineer team member will ensure that the equipment has been properly protected by blue flags and/or derails prior to allowing access. Locomotive access procedure. Access to locomotives is restricted to only those qualified individuals who have received permission through the Senior Director, Railway Operations, and when the necessary supervision has been obtained when required. All team members and contractors requiring access must be familiar with Section 21.1 of the Rocky Mountaineer Safety Certification Manual. When a certified contractor has been approved to access the locomotives for the purpose of performing work, such as cleaning or septic, they must contact the qualified Rocky Mountaineer team member who has been authorized to grant access to the locomotive. They must present their security ID card to the qualified Rocky Mountaineer team member, and they must avoid contact with all locomotive controls and switches while performing work on the locomotive. It is the responsibility of the qualified Rocky Mountaineer team member to unlock and lock the locomotive cab door. They must remain in the locomotive while the work is being done, and at no time should the locomotive key be loaned or given to non-authorized people. If the locomotive door cannot be locked, the qualified Rocky Mountaineer team member must remain at the location and call the operations hotline at 250-682-2000 for instructions.
Final safety tips. Here are some final safety tips. Remember to keep a clean and tidy work area. Protect yourself by wearing the proper PPE. Always expect the movement of equipment at any time, in any direction, or on any track or roadway. Always ensure you have firm footing and a clear path. Follow safe work procedures. Report safety incidents and concerns to a responsible Rocky Mountaineer person. Remember, no job on the railroad is so important that we can't take the time to do it safely.
Safety and emergency response programs. Employees of Rocky Mountaineer may access all information concerning the safety and emergency response programs and the links to the Canada Labour Code and Canada Occupational Health and Safety Regulations through My Rocky Mountaineer. Congratulations! You have completed the Rocky Mountaineer Safety Certification Training for Level 3 Access. Your exam will now be reviewed with the qualified facilitator to clarify any questions you may have concerning the safety and security programs at Rocky Mountaineer.